But Stacey, I mean, no home runs in the first month. I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning because this is the time when guys usually do better because it's their walk year. And he claimed, when was it, last week or the week before, that that's not playing a part in his struggles, but
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side. It's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go, now free in the App Store or in Google Play. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, an upsetting game.
I warned people.
You did.
I did. I've watched enough Yankees baseball to where I can tell when things are going to happen. And I kind of knew. And people who have watched this show.
Stradamus, they're calling you. Stradamus.
But people who have listened to the show since I started in 2018 and people who have watched since we started YouTube in 2021, they know I get some of the stuff right. And it is kind of scary, but it always seems to be the bad stuff that I get right. So we'll talk about it. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer, or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like the video, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. Coming up, we preview Game 2 against the Orioles. We talk about what we've learned about Juan Soto after a month with the Yankees. But first, Monday's shutout loss. After scoring 36 runs in Milwaukee, the Yankees couldn't even scratch across one run in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's one of those enamoring things when you look at it, that they managed to score 30 runs in 2 straight games, and then they can't manage a run. Baltimore didn't do much either. Clarke Schmidt actually had a really good start in this game. I did like what I saw to him. This is by far his best start of the year. I thought, yeah. I mean, 3 hits, 1 earned run. He had 3K, 5Ks actually, and he wanted to stay in that game. He really should have had 6 innings in this game. I texted you during the game too, because Boone was dying to take him out of the game. You could see it from the dugout. Like he couldn't wait to remove Schmidt from this game, to go to the bullpen. And then He finally got the opportunity. Schmidt even gave him the Mike Messina of no, stay in the dugout. And then Boone came out anyway, because Boone he could not wait to remove him from this game. And I think Schmidt deserved the opportunity to finish the game, in my opinion. But his best start of the year really shut the Orioles down. The Volpe error is a costly, yeah, is an error that you can't afford, yeah. But that you're not going to win games not scoring 2 runs anyway.
Right.
Like it's annoying, but Volpe's a Gold Glover. He's really solid in the field. You weren't going to win that game scoring no runs anyway. So Overall, an upsetting game, and really a performance that you can't have after putting up 30 runs in the last 2 games.
Right. It's just Aaron Boone confounds me on a nightly basis, because when you want him to take someone out, he doesn't take them out. When you don't want him to take someone out, he takes someone out, or he puts someone in that he shouldn't put in, or he puts someone in a place where they normally don't pitch and probably shouldn't pitch, but he just does it. It's like, what? After how many seasons of this, I'm still day to day. Just, I never know what this man's going to do.
It infuriated me more than usual tonight, only because tonight was a game where he used Clay Holmes late in this game for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It made no sense. They're down a run. Bringing him in made literal no sense with with 1 runner on first base. Couldn't remotely comprehend that. But you couldn't use Holmes for a second inning in the Friday game. I know we keep going back to that game on Friday night, but it's the truth. Yeah. You couldn't use Holmes because you didn't want to kill his arm in a game that you were leading in extra innings that you needed to get the win in. But you, for some reason, needed to get Holmes work today when you have 3 games following this one. In a game where you're losing and you're going to have 3 more games that you might want to try and win later on. I can't even remotely begin to understand what that move means. I mean, I don't know about you. I was literally befuddled sitting there thinking, what is he doing? Can you justify the reason, at least to me, and it helped me out here? Why was Clay Holmes in that game down 1-0?
I have no idea. I really don't. And we're recording this like immediately after the game, so we're not
Yeah.
listening to the post game, so we don't have an explanation for this
Oh, and
yet.
I'm sure it'll be he needed work. He wanted to get his arm going. It'll be some ridiculous excuse that Boone routinely he'll look at his script of excuses and he'll use that one.
Yeah.
But I can't get. I don't understand. You couldn't use him Friday for the extra inning after throwing 10 pitches to when they're up a run to try and win the game. But then when they're down a run, going with 3 more games left in this series, and the offense doesn't have a prayer of hitting all day,
Right.
now you use Clay Holmes.
Yeah.
It genuinely made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring it. I couldn't even grasp it. And I gotta say too, another thing, getting shut out for the 6th time this year. It's April. Like we haven't gotten through the first month yet. We're almost at May. They have got shut out 6 times already.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They've lost. What's their record now?
It's 17, 19, and 11. They're not. It's crazy too because they have a good record. They're not a bad baseball team.
No, but it's crazy that more than half of their losses have been shutouts.
Shutouts are days where the offense doesn't show up to the ballpark. There's a lot of things to take out of this game. I mean, you said a guy with a 5 ERA shutting them out is that's concerning when you're not going to hit guys like that.
Right, but it happened against what's his name, Alex Wood on Oakland. Yeah. He came in with a nearly 8 ERA, and they couldn't hit him. Shut him out.
I don't get things like that. 2 more takeaways from this game that I think I came away with that I think you're in agreement with, probably. Gleyber Torres is flaring on his at-bats now. He's up there swinging for a 900-foot home run.
Yeah.
It's very obvious to me. His hip opens up very much on swings. He's getting fooled on breaking balls like no one's business. I think the no home runs in the entire first month of the season, I think that, and the stat, what does it go back to last August? Where
September.
He doesn't have a...
September 7th, I believe, was the last one.
It's in his head.
Yeah.
It's clearly in his head. He's heard the ESPN or WFAN, takes out there of him not having.
Is needed there. He's not hitting, and he's getting base hits. He's getting singles. He's getting on base, but his game doesn't feel productive.
Right.
His game doesn't feel like he's doing much at the plate, and he's not a general power hitter. But Stacey, I mean, no home runs in the first month. I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning because this is the time when guys usually do better because it's their walk year. And he claimed, when was it, last week or the week before, that that's not playing a part in his struggles, but it's got to be at some point that's got to creep into his head, you would think.
I think it definitely is. The contract. A thing too is that's going to start to weigh more on him too. Mm-hmm. The more he struggles, the more it'll be a talking point. The more guys are going to bring it up to him in post game, and he's going to think about it. He's going to show up to the ball. It's not productive for his overall game, and right. You're seeing it more and more. His hips opening up on breaking balls. He's got no prayer on breaking balls. He's not hitting fastballs particularly well. He's not getting power on the ball. No long balls. Yeah, he does need that one. I kind of think to get over the hump. That's when you kind of want to evaluate him. After that one, but overall, very struggling start. And the second thing I wanted to mention, Giancarlo Stanton, my grandmother, I'm pretty sure, can beat him in a race. You watch him run on the replays. I know all of our loyal listeners watch him run. Have you seen a professional athlete look like less of a professional athlete ever? He can still hit. He's got power. He's he's got that Jason Giambi body that you fell in love with years ago. But Stacey, I mean, he runs like a 92-year-old man.
Yeah. I think of some of the bad runners that the Yankees used to have. Like I used to joke that Jorge Posada ran like he had a full diaper with a piano on his back.
Yeah, he did.
And Stanton is just, I mean, I could probably run better than Stanton. And I've been advised by doctors many times never to run because my knees are so bad. So,
yeah, I don't think I'm particularly a great runner anymore either. And I'm very confident that I could beat him in a race. like very confident. He runs at an unbelievably slow rate, which is concerning for a guy that came into the season with a new stretching routine and losing weight and everything. He looks slower than he's ever looked.
I know.
And he's actually hitting the ball this year. If he gives you this production the whole year, he's on pace for 40 and 90. If he hits 240 with 40 and 90, I'll sign for that in a heartbeat. Give me the pen and paper right now. I'll sign for it. If he gives me 20 and 60, I'll sign up for it. I cannot. But the level of running that he's so slow, so slow. Like I don't even have faith that any ball he puts in the gap, he's going to necessarily, beat out a double. It's going to be a stretch.
Well, yeah, because there was that one hit that he had in Milwaukee. I think that was a double that was hit to the gap, and any other person would have been standing at second, checking their watch for a good 5 seconds, and he barely got there. He barely got there. The throw was offline. If the throw wasn't offline, he probably would have been thrown out.
It's outstanding.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's crazy. We do have something positive to talk about, though, in segment 2. We'll get to that in a second. First, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a lot of fun. But coming up next, what's it been like having Juan Soto for a month?
It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. The bet that I love this coming up tomorrow or later today is the Carolina Hurricanes at -265 to close off the New York Islanders. I think the Islanders are done in this series. Now that they can really compete with Carolina, and I think it's going to set up a really good Rangers-Carolina second-round series in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. And another bet across the pond. I like Real Madrid to win in their Champions League matchup, -225. I like them to qualify out of the Champions League at that number. If you want to parlay those two, you should get them around even money. I think it's a really, really solid bet. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, don't forget you can catch every pitch in the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Got you there, Stacey. Great article came out today with Brendan Cuddy of The Athletic, really going over what it was. Chris Kirschner also that was involved in it. Really going over what Juan Soto has meant to the Yankees, and really after his first month, really breaking down what he's meant to the Yankees and what he's been as a player. I want to get to the quotes, but first I want to get your take on it. What is your overall consensus? I know your consensus, but your overall take on what Juan Soto has A, meant to this team, and B, is he as good as advertised?
I feel like he's better than advertised because I never really got to watch him. I saw him in a few games against the Yankees, but he was with the Nationals and he was with the Padres. So it wasn't like I was getting to see him day to day. And watching him day to day, he's unbelievable. He's amazing. I'm enjoying every second of it. And he feels like the perfect guy to be a Yankee for life. We'll see if that happens, but it would be amazing if he could be, because he's only 25. And it's like thinking of what the future could be. It's just amazing to think about that he could possibly be better than what he is. And he's already really great.
He came into the league with a lot of hype around him and is an 18-year-old. And I think there was a lot going into his Nationals career of what is he going to become, and playing with Bryce Harper those first couple of years. You really didn't know what you were going to get out of him. He's exceeded any expectation anyone could have imaginably had for him. I mean, I said this when the season first started, and people in the comments gave me some flack for it, and I think it remains true, and I think he's proven himself. He's a top 10 player of all time. He's that good. The overall numbers are that good. He's Ted Williams in the modern era. He is. And I think he's proven all that to us. I want to get into some of the quotes that we heard from this article, and I want to break them down a little bit because they are fascinating, and it really does offer some perspective on the career that Juan Soto's had in his Yankee career so far. This quote actually came from Marcus Stroman. People try to say that he had a down year last year, but how he impacts the lineup is second to none with how many pitches he sees, how much stress he puts on the opposing pitchers. You can't put value on some things he's doing. Obviously, the value is crazy, but it's even more because of some of the things he's doing, from game planning to stress. He's a once-in-a-generation player. I think he'll go down as one of the best to ever do this. I legit think, and he's only bleeping 25 years old. I truly believe he'll go down as one of the best hitters of all time. I don't think that quote is in hyperbole. No. I genuinely don't. I think he's that good of a player, and I think you even see it in the Yankee lineup. The amount of pitches he takes, it inspires other guys to take more pitches, and the type of game that he plays, other guys want to emulate that. Yeah. And it's hard to emulate things like that when it's a guy like Judge and you can't simply hit the ball that far. You don't have that level of strength. Right. And it's hard and they don't have another player like that. But Juan Soto can hit the ball that far, can take a bunt whenever he needs to, put a ball in the gap whenever he needs to. He is the complete package as a hitter. And I think Stroman, it's a perfect perspective from a player in the league, a pitcher in the league, who, by the way, has had success against Soto. Soto's 3 for 10 in his career against Stroman. So Stroman's had success against him. And still, to describe it the way he does, I think it's the perfect explanation of the kind of player that Soto really is.
Yeah. And the fact that he walks so much in this era of guys either hitting home runs and striking out, not really, but it feels like there are more players like that than there were in the past. And it feels as if he's almost a throwback to, like you said, the Ted Williams thing, because you don't see that kind of a player a lot anymore. You see more the guys that hit the home runs and then they'll strike out or maybe hit a single occasionally, but he's doing everything. It's unbelievable.
Everything but striking out.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. And that's one of the things that amazes me. If you go back on your baseball reference and you look at Ted Williams and the lack of striking out that he did, the guy was striking out 40 times a year. Juan Soto's the only guy in the last 20 years that does that. It's incredible the level of control he has over the bat. It's deserves to be noticed one area that he's actually been better than last year, Soto, which is crazy. And he did struggle last year, but I mean, struggling for him was 30 and 100 with a 340. It was crazy.
Right.
Last year he had a 998 OPS against all fastballs. That's including sinkers and cutters, with 27 home runs and a 16.4% strikeout rate. Which, if you guys aren't aware of what that is, 16.4 in today's era is absurdly low. Guys strike out 30 to 40% in this era. So far this year, Soto has a 1.145 OPS with 5 home runs and a 9.3% strikeout rate. That's 9%. Crazy. I mean, it's again, I don't want to gas the guy up because he's a Yankee, and I'm not trying to do that. But a 9% strikeout rate in the year 2024, when you have pitchers that are throwing 100-mile-an-hour sinkers, is unheard of. Right. It's unheard of to strike out. I mean, every at-bat, he's either putting the ball in play or walking. It is otherworldly how good that number is.
I'm shocked by the 9.3% because that's, like you said, that's just an absurd number. An absurdly low
it's a video game number.
Yeah.
It's a video game number.
Yeah.
But he's also hitting the ball harder this year. His average exit velocity has been 95 miles an hour this year compared to 93.2 last year, which is also he's got a better barrel rate, so he's connecting with better on the barrel more with the ball. Hard hit rate's higher, his sweet spot rate is higher, and he's lowered his strikeout percentage. His whiff and his chase rate are all down also. So he's actually having one of the better years of his career, and he's already come in being Ted Williams.
Right.
That's how good this guy is. He's been a complete godsend for the Yankees, and I think if you truly put the truth serum into anybody in Yankees ownership, general managing partners, anybody that follows this team and is going to make decisions on how much money to give this guy, they would admit to you in a heartbeat he's exceeded every single expectation beyond belief that they could have had for him.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Cashman admitted that he was trying to get Soto at the deadline last season, and then they couldn't pull that off. But he was on his radar. They know what kind of a player he is. I just hope they don't, what's the term? Fumble the bag?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Right?
Yeah, hope the Brinks truck doesn't hit a pothole on the way there and crack a tire.
Right.
I wanted to close this segment off with asking a question to our fans to put in the comments, because I'm curious to know your answer. And I want to know your answer too, Stacey, before reading theirs tomorrow. And maybe we'll address them tomorrow. We'll address them later in the week of what you guys think. I mean, this will be a question that's kind of addressed throughout the rest of the season. Right. But I want to get your take on it before anything, because I think this take will develop as the season goes on. And it'll continue to grow and debate. And the answer will always be yes, but it'll be yes at what number? And what extent? And I want to offer this first number out to you. Will his first contract be north of $500 million? Boris played hardball with Rodon. He played hardball with Cole and got the most money possible out of them from the Yankees. We'll start at this number, and I'm sure it'll grow as the year goes on. Will he be north of $500 million?
I think so.
And there's no debate to you?
No.
Yeah, I want to disagree with you, and I don't have one. I think he's going to be north of $500 million, and we're going to go up as the year goes on. And I want to hear from our fans. Do you guys think that the contract is going to be north of 500? If so, where? Like, where does this go to? And what number could you see come across your phone tomorrow that you're comfortable with? I'm not talking about years right now, because the Yankees profit billions of dollars per year. So the AAV, I'm really honestly not concerned with. What I'm concerned with is the whole total number. Can you tell me, at least, is there a number in your head that you see come across your phone tomorrow morning as you wake up that you're like, whoa, did they really? That's, because it is Juan Soto and he's a great player. But is there a number where you pull back and go, ooh, I don't know about that?
I mean, me personally, no. I mean, I think he's worth every penny that they're going to give him. I really do.
That speaks volumes. It really does. I mean, it's hard for me to argue with you because he's been that good.
Yeah.
He really has. Next, we're going to get into game 2 of this series. It's Nestor Cortes versus Dean Kramer. Not a great pitching matchup for the Yankees, in my opinion, going in, especially scoring no runs in a place where they generally hit the ball really well.
Mother's Day is right around the corner, and if you're still scratching your head about what to get for the woman who means everything to you, don't fret. DoorDash is here to save the day. Just picture yourself at your mom's house. Maybe you didn't bring something over, and she's sitting there thinking to herself, am I getting something for Mother's Day? And then the doorbell rings, and there's a giant bouquet of flowers. Well, guess what? You can do that by using DoorDash. With DoorDash, you can make this Mother's Day one to remember. You can shower your mom with all of the appreciation that she deserves without even stepping out of your house. And if you want to add that extra touch, you can pair those flowers with a gift card to her favorite bookstore, her favorite coffee shop, and just make her happy. It's Mother's Day. So why wait? Order now and let DoorDash take care of everything you need to make this Mother's Day truly special. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on flowers, convenience, groceries, or retail only on DoorDash. That's Locked On MLB. So order now and make this Mother's Day one for the books. DoorDash, delivering joy one doorstep at a time. Terms apply. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day. Say that 10 times fast, with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV Channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees.
Well, game 2 of this series starts tomorrow, same time, 6:35 Eastern. But I want to ask your opinion on something before we get into game 2 of this series. It's a common theme on this show. I feel like we talk about it every single day, but the umpiring again tonight was hideous. It was so bad particularly the Anthony Rizzo walking down to first base when everybody in the stadium, everybody in America, everybody in the continent knew that Anthony Rizzo walked, and the umpire was the only man in the galaxy that thought that was a strike. Even the pitcher thought it was a ball. It was, one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And then we get a doozy going into tomorrow, don't we?
CB Buckner, everyone.
Oh, can't you wait?
I realized that because I looked up. I was like, who is this umpire? And then I didn't even see his name first. I saw the CB at first base, and I'm like, oh, no, that means CB Buckner is going to be behind the plate in game 2. This is going to be awful. So we can't escape bad umpiring. We're
in for a world of hurt.
Oh, my goodness. I do enjoy the 6:35 starts, though, because the games end right at 9 o'clock. It's perfect.
Yep, exactly at 9 o'clock. It's eerie. It's almost every single game. The shorter games are fun. I do agree. The 6 p.m. start is kind of nice because the games end a little earlier. It's a lot better than the West Coast games when they're playing Oakland. Nothing's worse than when they play Oakland and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you get the cowbell going off and you're half asleep. You're in your bed, like half up, and the cowbell's going off. That's the worst feeling ever. I don't think you're going to have a lot of good feelings the next 2 days. Just going to be real with you, Yankee fans. Corbin Burns in game 3 and Dean Kramer tomorrow, later today. I keep saying tomorrow. It's a little, technically it is time-wise, but when the episode comes out, curtain-wise, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Dean Kramer to later today, 1-2, 4-6-1, but the track record.
Yeah.
And this reeks of Yankees scoring a 1 run. Does it not? This reeks of 8. Tomorrow reeks of 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, no, it Kramer gives them problems. We'll see what happens because you never know. We might be going into this thinking, oh, this is going to be another one of these bad games. And then they, score 7 on him. So you never know.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, with Grayson Rodriguez, don't look at the ERA and think, oh, they should have no problem with this guy because look what happened with Grayson Rodriguez. So the problem with the Yankees is not the offense is a problem only because they can't score guys. Like they get on base, which is great. But they left 9 guys on base on Monday. They left 11 guys on base in that one game against the A's. Like just ridiculous amounts of people just stranded there waiting to score and not scoring. And they need to snap out of that. So I would just like a split out of this series,
after game 1.
Yeah, like a split would be great.
What are you looking for out of Nestor in the game?
Oof. Well, I want him to see how Clarke Schmidt attacked them, and be like, I could do that too.
Their lineup is unforgiving.
Yeah.
They have such a good lineup
They do.
between Rutschman, Mountcastle. Their lineup is so unbelievably deep. Their bullpen, although it struggled lately, is also really fantastic. They're a really tough team, and I don't know if a lot of teams are going to be able to beat them this year. I don't. They're going to win 100 games this year again, I think.
Yeah, they all have amazing names too, right?
Very good baseball names.
Yeah, they have really good baseball names, and we're getting to the point now because it's 2024, so all these names that people were naming their kids in the early 2000s, late 90s, like Grayson and Aiden and all those different names are becoming common. Yeah, they're becoming common names because one of my cats is named Grayson. So when I see Grayson Rodriguez, I just laugh at that because, No,
it's fascinating that you bring that up because you are getting these. Like Adley Rutschman is a weird name. I don't mean that in an offensive way. you don't hear a lot of Adleys out there. No. Even Jackson Holiday. Jackson to me is a last name. Michael
really?
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson's very popular.
Reggie Jackson. I don't know. Yeah. I always feel like Jackson is a last name, and then Jackson Holiday, comes up.
The Jacksons now that people are doing, they're doing Jackson instead of like that's how people are spelling it now. But my cousin, we kind of looked at him sideways because his son was born 25 years ago and he named him Jackson, which was also funny because I have a bad Greek last name, but my cousin's Greek last name is even worse than mine. So Jackson with the Greek last name we were all like, what are you doing?
We went through that. We went through that era. Now we're going through the era we went through the crazy they're not crazy, but different first name era in the early 2000s. And now it's hitting the different first name, but spelled like nobody would think you're spelling it.
Yes.
Just crazy spellings that you're seeing out there now.
Oh yeah. Every Lee now is Liegh. So like Kaylee and Bailey is all, it's funny.
It's wild. But you're
like
seeing it out of the Orioles because their average age on the team is like 14.
Right.
They are so unbelievably young.
They're so young. They're going to be good for the next 15 years. It's going to be so scary.
Yeah. All these guys will be 33.
Right.
They're unbelievably young, and they're all on young contracts. I mean, they're going to be a thorn in the Yankees side for the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah.
I mean, legitimately.
Yeah.
Especially if they begin to develop this pitching.
Right.
If they continue to develop their pitching, they're going to be a scary team for decades to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did it the way the Yankees don't want to do it. They rebuilt everything.
They bottomed out.
The Yankees will never bottom out. They'll never do a true rebuild, and so they'll never be able to. They'll never play in front of.
The problem is the Yankees don't want to go back to the 80s when the stadium's empty, and they weren't even bad in the 80s. But they don't want to go back to that point where the stadium's empty every single game, and you can't. There's no one on the upper deck. The Orioles had no problem going through that.
The upper deck was empty in the 90s too when they were winning. You see shots of home runs going up into right field, and you're like, where the hell is everyone? Because they pushed everyone toward the. That's a whole thing. We can get into that another time. One more time, don't forget, join Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description below and a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions. We'll send out, like there was a roster move on Monday, and there was something else I sent out on Monday. So you get that from us. And then you can send us the questions for Fan Mail Friday. And if you're in the Insiders Club, you get top priority. But if you don't want to join the Insiders Club, that's fine. You can leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday under our pinned comment on YouTube, and we will read them, even if you're not an insider, as long as we can answer them, and as long as they're not repeated questions, because we've had that happen the past couple of weeks where 6 people have asked the same question, and I just pick one at random. So if I didn't pick you, I apologize, but that's how it works. And one last time, remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys next time.